So, hello, Elena. So, yeah, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to start now. I'm starting our clock here, and it will let us know when it's been 30 minutes. So, Elena, I think even before we start going into the details of the map, it's good to find our coach state.
Yeah.
And just take a moment to center, to open. I might ask if Juliana just could close her camera there. Yeah, thank you. And Elena, I mean, obviously, if you were a first-time client, you wouldn't really know anything about Coach, but you're not a first-time client, and I'm curious if you have a good way that you like to get into your Coach state, especially knowing that we've got a short period and we want to really be focused on the mindset now. So.
Yeah. Sun Tai Chi.
So, Tai Chi, yeah. Anything in particular that I can share with you?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was some new Tai Chi for me. So I'm here. I'm ready.
I'm here too.
So you were readily volunteering there. So it looks like you were really ready to go. So maybe you can say a little bit about, first of all, you know, we know from the mindset map, a lot of it's organized around what is your current focus, what is your goal, and then sort of we can start looking at what you know about the gap, anything that you can share. I don't know if you even have it, if you have that filled out in a way that we could look at it, or so either we can look at it together on a screen, or you can just share it with us.
Yeah, we can look. It's on the screen. I will.
Yeah, if you
to share it.
Yeah, do you know how to share the screen?
Oh, but it say that organizer switch off the demonstration, so I can't. So Zoom told that you switch off the possibility to share.
Yeah, try again, please.
Try again now, Elena, because Mickey has to give you the possibility to share.
Yeah.
Aha, I see it coming. There you are. I'm excited to see this. Yes, see the results.
So what's the map comparison? Or
sure, that's probably the quickest way. And maybe what you can do, Elena, is to tell me a little bit about, you know, what this means for you. I mean, so I can see right away that your meta goal or your current focus is about getting more satisfaction in what you're doing, and I can see obviously right away that difference between the archetypes that are more sort of connected to your current mindset and the ones that are for that one. But what would you say is the insight that you have, or the from doing this?
Yes. When I did this mindset map, I thought about my actually two projects. One of them is, Neo Mind, and I started it with you in Santa Cruz 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And another one is the creativity. I have my project about the development of creativity, particularly creativity for designers. And actually, both of them went pretty well during last year, but since this year, even before the COVID, before the coronavirus, I just slowed down. I just started to think, should I go further with them or what I should do? And actually, I really lost my passion.
Wow.
Connection, with actually both two projects. And I spent, almost 9 months of this year thinking about what I should do further with them, and should I start something new or should I, follow them? And it was a really transitional period for me.
Yeah.
But finally, it's at the moment it's become more clear for me. I know that I really want to continue with them, but I need to adjust them. I need maybe even to rebrand somehow. So I already knew what I need to add, some part of Neira, some part of doesn't matter, but some other stuff which really enrich, the project. But I don't have a lot of motivation at the moment.
What I see that's showing up, the red circles are around three things. One is your passion. One is around, this idea of going full, going for what you want, so that motivation. And the other is taking time to reconnect, to the self-motivator. And that seems to me to be, very, very relevant here. And I'm hearing that it seems that for you right now, there was a period where it sounded a little bit like you kind of went into, in some ways it was reflection, but I wonder if it might have also gotten a little bit too much analysis paralysis. I don't know if that was being more paralyzed or being just more kind of disconnected. Do you have a sense for yourself of what?
Yes, of course I have. I don't think that it was analysis paralysis.
Okay.
It's like nothing state. At the moment, something started very clouded, so I even can't thinking analytically in this period.
Yeah. Well, we'll scroll down in just a moment to look at some of the tools, but it seems to me that one of the other really important things to think about here is, as we think about the different, levels in the pyramid, there's the whole notion of behaviors, there's capabilities, there's values and beliefs, there's sense of identity, and then there's sense of purpose. Now, motivation can be related to any of those top three, my values or my beliefs, my sense of my identity, my sense of my purpose. And I'm kind of wondering for you, Elena, if you have an intuition about which of those seems to be the most significant. Is it that I'm clear about my purpose and I'm clear about who I am, but I'm not sure what to believe? Or is it, well, I'm kind of confused about who I am now? Or, what would you say?
I understand what you mean. It's more high level. I think it's about the identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I absolutely have all the capabilities, all the relevant knowledge, and even supporting beliefs that I can do it. It's I don't have any doubt about that.
Thank you, because that was a bit my intuition, that it wasn't that you had doubt about could you do it and about your beliefs, but it seemed like it was a little bit more on that identity level. And so I think that's important for us to know how to focus. So now I'm curious, if we scroll down, what does it say about your strengths and areas for improvement? So it's saying really about, we know it's about following it. And I think I see something right there, one of the first ones, if we go back to the meta, it's talking about the identity level elicitation process. And then it also is talking about the hero's journey. And it seems to me that these are two very relevant ones. And the identity elicitation process basically it's asking, that's where you go through the levels and you say, what do you sort of feel most resonance with? It seems to me, though, Hero's Journey is also perhaps very relevant here, because it seems to me like there's a kind of a calling for you that's happening right now. And, if we were to look at that, at what's happened over these last 9 months, and, I think of it as a big, big challenge. What do you sense is this whole situation is calling from you? What is it? Because you said it's not to believe more in what you're doing. You already believe more in that. If you could, just sort of, this is where I think it becomes important to not go into the analysis paralysis, but really listen more deeply to, to the heart and to the gut. And, because it seems that there is something that's really important here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what came to my mind? That's actually, for example, now mind was really based on, a lot of knowledge or information I got from SFM, for example. It was really big part of them. And now I just have some sense in me that you should do something by yourself. You should do something more. Like Robert Beals.
I just want to pause for a moment and honor that. I want to really take that voice, because it seemed like you said it. So you said, and just want to be sure that I understood really correctly. You were saying that you realized that what you'd been doing in the past was based on a lot of information, things like SFM and all that kind of thing, and it seemed like this now, and it almost was like this voice saying that now what you really need to do is to do something by yourself, like Robert Dilts in that sense, meaning not try to be Robert Dilts, but find your own. What's your contribution? What is the Elena work? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
First of all, I really hear that when you say that, it resonates a lot with me. And I feel that sense too, that this seems like it's your moment to say, well, what is my work? Not me doing somebody else's work or me following something else, but it seems to me that's the calling here. I'm curious, Elena, if we were to add these other, and maybe I think for now we can probably stop sharing, because I know the tools that it's, we know those tools now. And if we need to come back, we can, but I think it'd be, so to have a better sense of you, that, if we were to put that calling into other representations, in other words, what image would come to you of what that means, that it's time to do your own work, and what would be the gesture that comes with that? So this is really what I need to be doing now.
Yeah. The image is a piano.
A piano?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
but I'm not really the piano player.
Okay, well, that's okay, but
it's
interesting. Yeah.
So.
And is there a kind of a gesture that goes with that? So it's time for you to do your your work.
Yeah. And I know why, I just remember how you, on the generative coaching, when you explain about the Mozart, how you actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So, yeah, it should be something like that.
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And again, the key here is, because it seems to me this is the calling for you. The calling for you is, now is the time for you to do your own work. And as you think about that and hold that not so much as a cognitive idea, but I was really thinking about that, and we know that what was showing up that you really need is that connecting to your motivation, to your passion, which is, again, I think it's taking you to a different level, which is because you could say, oh, well, I can be passionate about SFM, but I think it's talking about something more deep that's about you and your expression. And so as you really kind of connect in with that, from the hero's journey perspective, one of the really big questions is always, so what's the threshold? What's that new territory that you are going to have to go into? I mean, and this is a time, obviously, in this time of change and uncertainty, for us to do new things. But if you were really doing your own work, what would be new for you? For me, this is kind of moving into that step 3, the action planning. What is it? So, okay, if I took that commitment to, what does that mean for me that I would be starting to do that's different than what I've done so far?
Yeah. So
I keep having, by the way, this image that if you take Mozart, there's the piano and the notes. He did not invent the piano or the notes. But what he did was to put it together in a completely unique way. And I think, yes, maybe you didn't invent the SFM or some of these distinctions, and many more than that, but you can put them together in your own unique way. And that seems to be where could be interesting. I don't know. That's just what was coming to me when I was making that gesture.
Yeah, but this is exactly what I'm thinking. That I shouldn't, cancel or,
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to put, all what I have in the basket, and then shake it, and then something, new will come up.
I like that. And so as you think about doing that, what feeling do you have? I mean, what is it?
I like it. I have some sense of curiosity. What it could be.
I like the way you said, I like it. So now, again, since this is at the beginning and nothing has quite emerged yet, but if we think about, again, this sort of moving across that threshold and into this new territory, I'm curious, what, we were speaking about certain guardians, and we had Ulysses and we had Richard Branson. I don't know if you know much. I mean, what do you know about either of those two archetypes? What does that, do any of them?
You know what? When I was in Steven Trans camp, when he did this deep transidification, Branson was my role model.
Oh, wow.
I did the deep transidification with him.
No, that's very interesting, I have to say. So you have some insight into Mr. Branson. But I mean, and if you were to, if part of this shaking your basket and letting something emerge, what, if Richard Branson was one of your guardians, for example, what would he be saying to you? What would be your
Actually, what he told me last time was just do that.
Just do it.
Just do that.
I have a book that he wrote that the title is "Screw It, Just Do It." Screw it, let's do it.
Yeah.
But what is it that you would do then? Because okay, the basket is there, and you say, okay, well, maybe I'm not so sure. What does that mean to do it? Would be curious. What's your Because Elena, I mean, I know you've had many projects. You have a lot of background, a lot of you have a lot in that basket, a lot of tools, and you have a lot of connections. And so I'm really curious. What would it be to do? And maybe it's not about what's in the basket. I'm also wondering, since this is about you doing your work, is there something you need to do? I mean, like where you that. This is maybe where we get into looking for the obstacles as we move into action. When you really think it's, okay, this is my work. And what is it that needs to, there's the stuff in the basket, which is not necessarily yours, but then there's you. And how do you?
I'm in stock at the moment.
Yeah, so we can say welcome.
Welcome.
So it's okay to be stuck in the moment. In fact, it's probably important. And say a little bit more, how are you stuck? What happens when you get stuck like that?
It's again started a little bit cloudy. And,
yeah.
I'm just again frozen for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, basket nice. But
yeah.
What then?
So one of the third thing, there was 3 things that were listed, 3 tools. One was the identity elicitation, one level of the elicitation. One was the hero's journey, and then one was coach state. So it seems to me that it's really important when you hit that place, quickly come back to your coach state. So I have my basket, that's nice. But somehow when you start really thinking about, this is my work, and I was even struck by that your image was the piano, which is not necessarily an image of you. And I would actually wonder what if you were to see you, the you that you would be becoming as a result of this journey, of what this journey maybe has always been leading you up to, even if it took you through TransCamp and SFM, but it's your journey. And what do you see? Or it doesn't have to be see, it could be any of the senses, but what is that you that's there for you?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know the word in English. What the name of the person who is manage the orchestra?
Yeah, yes, well, the maestro, the conductor.
Yeah, the conductor, the conductor. Yeah.
It's interesting, just last week, I went to see, they had an international competition for women maestros all over the world, from Colombia, from Russia, from other places. And there was these women conducting the orchestra, and it was very powerful. It was just for the women. And I see that some of that in you. And when you have that image, what does that mean to you? What does it reflect back to you about you?
It's interesting because, today everything about music, it's look like, this, you need to hear the music of space.
Yes.
It's something also which it's look like it's not only about myself, it's also about what is coming through myself.
Yes, yes, I agree. And if you were to really because I think this is that very powerful, Martha Graham metaphor about when you open the channel and you let that unique you come through. And that seems to me that right now that's the most important, because that's what's going to organize all those tools in that basket. It's going to be it's, you know, who you are. And who you are doesn't have to be related to a particular thing. But when I think about the identity elicitation process, it really is finding a ground and an anchor for you to really say, this is who I am, even if it's not, you know, I don't have to make a detail like, okay, well, yes, I'm a woman and I'm from this place and I've done this, but it's really more your unique energy. And I think this is maybe where Branson can come in a little bit too, because he has 400 different companies. You know, he started with a record company and then did an airline. So it has nothing to do with what's in that basket, but it has to do with the sense of, you know, and he said it's about living life to the full and about, so what would that mean? And what would that be for you if we could really get capture that? Because I see you stepping into your place. And you said it's not about you, but it's still without the conductor, the music. And even what was wonderful about these conductors is even though they're working with world-class musicians, they're not teaching them how to play the instrument. They're not teaching them the music even. What they're doing is they're helping them together and they're listening to that space in the music and saying a little bit more of this. And so how would you represent that? What does that mean for you? What comes through you that maybe doesn't come through anybody else?
I tried to start it to another.
Yeah, actually, another way to do it would be if you were showing me, because I was really interesting to watch these women that were conducting. If you were just going to start to conduct the orchestra, what would you do? Show me with your body, you know. So you're not just playing the piano. Mm-hmm. You are now getting ready to.
Will be like.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think a very important thing, this is when you think about this practice, I mean, something like this for you to really, because I think this is what you most need in order, you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of projects, even things that you've already done, you have a lot in that basket. But what it's really calling for you is for you to be, you know, this is my work now. This is my work. And I'm not doing it by myself because there's an orchestra, but it's my work. Even if I'm conducting Mozart, it's my, this is my conducting of Mozart. It's not anybody else's. It was actually in this competition that we saw, all of the women, they conducted the same music, like one by Beethoven, one by Bartók, one by a modern composer, and you could just see and hear the difference in each music. Was, even if it was the same music, it was alive in a different way. And that's what I see is here for you. And when you do that, what comes clear to you about you? Anything that you can share?
First of all, you know, the states change completely.
Yeah.
I just, you know, this power inside of me that I can do it. Yeah. This is big, you know, big change.
Great.
And also, I just think that I need to do some revision, just because I just realized that I even don't know how much I have. So I need to put everything to looking through and then.
Right. Make the score. You need to make a musical score. Yeah. So.
To work with all that and bring all this in this creative mind state. And then see how it will, shake inside.
Yeah. So we have in our last 30 seconds here, what will be your practice? So, because I think that's what you're going to take with you from this session. What can you can concretely do to make sure that you keep this and that this becomes your guide?
Yes, first of all, I will do this practice with the somatic movements because I feel it's very powerful. Yeah.
And then you also talked about gathering. Is there any way that you can gather all the things? Because you said you need to sort of really revise. And that's our.
Yeah, and I also will do another round, of modeling of Richard Branson, I think.
Aha! Great. Good. Another round. So it's like stepping in. Maybe you can even have a Richard Branson part over here as a guide and say, okay, what does he say? And then come back. Because that's probably where I would be going with you next. But I think this has been a really good piece so far. So thank you for
thank you very much
on this journey.